Hello and welcome to the Reetin Entertainment Podcast, episode 392 for March 26th, 2023. My name is Nathan Reetin Spruth. Joining me this week, we have Andrew Aroa McFain.
It's me again.
Andrew Aroa McFain's cat. Not gonna meow. And we have Connor.
I can't get him to meow on command.
Just squeeze his belly. And then we are also joined by Connor the Cyberpunk Monk Bash.
Don't squeeze the cat's belly. I'll squeeze your belly. How you like it?
I would probably meow. And I am, of course, your host, Nathan Reetin Spruth. So, Aroa, where can we find you?
Well, of course, you can go to aroa.website where you got all those links. There's a particular link that you want that Connor will tell you about.
Yeah, I would be delighted if you clicked on it. That was the link to Clinton's Core Classics, Rise of the Rune Lords, a first edition actual play podcast. We're pretty close to wrapping up here.
I was about to ask how close are we? Because I know you work a lot behind the scenes. This is peeking behind the curtain a little bit, but I look at both of our podcasts, the Reetin Entertainment Podcast and the Clinton Core Classics podcast, and you guys have, on the CCC podcast, it's several episodes ahead.
Yeah, I'm 3 months ahead. So if I drop dead, that's, we still got some content for a while. But also I just want to finish it. I'm behind the scenes, I'm 5 episodes away from being done with this damn project.
And what would happen?
I can start over and remaster it all.
Yeah. What would happen is first off, if that happens and you do remaster it, I need you to put in sound effects.
That's doable.
Yeah, like clinging and clanging and space lasers.
That's incredibly doable. Every episode just has space lasers scattered throughout.
But if you did end up dropping dead right after this podcast, then I would have to go and I would release the last 5 episodes.
The raw cuts.
Basically with 0 editing. I'd be like, here you go. This is Clinton cheating for 2 hours. But
sometimes it really do be like that.
It does. But I give him a little bit of slack just because when you're a DM or a GM, you're having to take all of the rules and know exactly what's going on all the time, so I can understand him overlooking some rules if he doesn't know exactly what's going on.
Why can't you just play this game for literally over half of your life and just know everything like I do? It's a great situation.
Well, I mean, half of his life is a lot longer than half of your life.
And he definitely hasn't played any other conflicting tabletop games with close but drastically different rule settings.
Yeah, exactly.
Nope.
So, you can find me, Nathan Reetin Spruth. I am Reetin everywhere. Reetin on Twitter, Reetin on Twitch. We'll talk about some Twitter stuff later. That's going to be fun. But
did you get banned again?
I did not get banned. It's actually one of the stories. I am on Twitch Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. I beat Persona 3, but we'll talk about that in a minute after we hear what Connor's games he's played this week. Yeah, that grammatically works.
So I've been on call this week, so I spent a lot of extra time at work, waiting around for loading bars and unplugging Ethernet cables and being told to sit tight for me to plug it back in, really silly stuff like that. So it's been a good Steam Deck week, that is.
That's good.
The main game I've been playing is Shenmue. If people have played along before, I'm approximately halfway through Disc 2, so I'm getting pretty close to getting into the docks here. It's a whole lot of walking around, asking people what's up, and training karate moves.
Are you also on the docks? Is that where you drive the forklift?
Yes, I'm getting pretty close to that.
Left, right.
I got to do it good, at least for the Chivo. I'm doing it all for the Chivo, baby.
I worked in actual warehouses, doing tech support, and I can tell you that is exactly like working in an actual warehouse.
That's exactly how it's like when Reeton boarded onto a device he was not registered nor trained to use and just floored it. Right, left.
They actually had me do that where I don't think, not in a forklift, but on one of those scissor lifts. I was
you got to have certification for those, man. OSHA would not be happy.
Yeah, they're like, you're good. Just strap yourself in and go up there and make that Ethernet cable. I'm like, I don't think I can legally
you guys not
do
have a
that.
ladder? Just put the ladder on the scissor lift. It'll be fine.
No. Did you play anything else? So you played a lot of Shenmue.
I have been emulating a whole bunch of games, mostly stuff on the N64, but like just too many to mention. And I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2 right now because I could bow hunt and have a conversation with my friends at the same time.
Good. Is that what you're doing literally right now?
That is what I'm doing literally right now. I am tracking something, and I don't think I started but one time during that whole thing.
And what about you, Aroha? What games have you played or are currently playing?
Well, I was about to start playing the Diablo 4 beta again, but the game is very loud, so I was trying to set up the Stream Deck's new volume control app so that I could mute it as soon as it opened. And playing a Diablo 4 beta, though, has really got me like, am I going to buy it? I might
Don't do
buy
it. Don't do it, Aurora. Don't do it. No.
But it looks really fun. It feels good.
It's just another vending machine. All they want to do is put another vending machine in front of you.
Yeah, but Diablo's
been
fun.
I've never been into Diablo. I don't like that type of RPG, like the isometric click.
You know, there's some elements of it where I'm like, bleh. But usually once I get in a groove, particularly because I usually try to play decently low skill characters and I never try to like push myself very far. I just kind of play it as a form of mindless entertainment. Like when I played Diablo 3 for a long while on my Switch, actually, and like playing it just as something to fill time was really good. Yeah, but like Necromancer is one of the most fun classes like in any RPG. It's great.
Yeah,
and I love that one of the default skins is just a like malnourished Hot Topic chick.
Mm-hmm.
Like
now it
also
might
the aesthetic is like, man, they're going for as edgy as fucking possible. You can talk now.
Oh, okay. So it did, a lot of people really like him, and I think part of it is I played some Diablo 1, had a little bit of fun with that. I originally played Diablo 1 on the original PlayStation, that version of the game.
Oh, the best version.
The best version. And then when I
did
not
play StarCraft on the N64, you know.
No, I played Command and Conquer on the N64. Thank you very much.
Oh no. Oh,
so,
you poor thing.
And then when I would play 2, it was always with somebody else. Like somebody's like, "Hey, play Diablo 2 with me. It'll be fun." And then they just ran through everything because they knew exactly where to go and what to do, and I did not. So I was just kind of tagging along, and maybe that kind of jaded my experience of the games, and same with
sounds like it
other games.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. That's like every third person's experience with the Borderlands series.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
I was actually thinking it's exactly the same as Borderlands in that way.
It's unfortunate that we haven't solved for this problem yet. There's got to be a better way.
Well,
Borderlands
and that's
at least tries in some way. Where I only really played co-op in the first game, but it would like mega boost anybody who was lower level than everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And you could catch up pretty quickly. But
so did you play anything other than Diablo 4?
I mean, I'm still hammering through Bone Razor minions. I think I might have realized that that the, whether you want to call it action roguelite or bullet heaven genre, might be something that I can say I am a fan of. Like there's something about the way that the Vampire Survivors formula works and the way that it can just be easily transplanted between games. Like there's something very innately fun about that to me. Like I keep looking for other games in this genre, and I'm like, that's going on my wish list. That's going on my wish list. As soon as I clear out fucking Bone Razor Minions, I'm gonna go play that. Like I found one that's on mobile. I'm probably going to get that. Like it's it did that, man. That I realized recently as well that like, and it was funny because the most recent Yahtzee Croshaw review kind of made the same point, that like I'm realizing that every like major AAA game, you know, is made by people who, while they may be passionate about the work that they're doing, it's obvious that like they're not, like they don't have the time or budget or and they're not allowed to like put their whole heart and soul into the games that they make.
Yeah.
And then you play something like Bone Razor Minions. It's just made by one dude and is $5 and just uses like pixel art sprites, and it's like some of the most fun I've had. Like it's, and the same thing happened with Pizza Tower, and people are really enjoying Hi-Fi Rush, and that's very much the same thing where it's like it's a bigger studio, but like they're still not huge, and it's definitely not a AAA game, but like it's obvious that they put a lot of love into that. And I wonder if that's gonna, if maybe big studios are going to figure out that maybe they should just let developers do stuff that's like fun and cool instead of trying to go for mass market appeal all the time.
No, they are not going to do that.
What it will be, live service games are failing hardcore right now.
They might,
which I am so happy about.
They might do that. The movie industry has done that in the past, where Star Wars originally, George Lucas had to make American Graffiti and get a huge success before he could make his little sci-fi film, and that actually screwed over the producers, the people who funded the project, because they're like, yeah, you can have all the royalties. This little sci-fi film, it's not going to take off. And then George Lucas was like, look at my mountain of money. Look at that billions of dollars I made off this, you dumb fucks. So they might do that. They might say like, hey, you know, you can make a little, you know, indie game or whatever you want to make, but before that, you have to make a huge hit for us. But well, typically like what it does is you make a huge hit for us, now you have to make the sequel.
Yeah. And very much to your point with film, like a lot of there are a number of big directors or whatever that kind of have an unspoken agreement of one for you, one for me sort of thing. And actors do the same thing, where you get to make one like big blockbuster whatever bullshit, and then you get to make something that's actually worth watching.
Yeah.
So I do wonder if something like that's going to, and the main fuel, we aren't talking about it, probably because there's not much to say, and I don't think I've seen many articles about it, but like the Square Enix CEO is pretty sure to get ousted soon.
And
it's because all of the attempts at appealing to mass market bullshit and making as much profit as possible has failed miserably over and over again.
Yeah, like Avengers.
What was it, Babylon's Fall or whatever?
Babylon's Fall. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, that was critically acclaimed, but I don't think it sold as well as they wanted.
It probably didn't sell as well as they wanted, but it still, like you said, it got like pretty good reviews, and look at what it was. It wasn't a big live service thing. It was just a game with a narrative that, like, from what I've heard, at least, it seemed like the people who were writing it, like, actually gave a shit.
Well, and I played through it, and Connor would come in to the chat and be like, "This game is way better than it has any right to be."
Yeah, that seemed to be the sentiment, like, all over the place. And it's like, well, go figure that the thing that Squeenix didn't, like, pour as much money as possible into to try to make it the biggest hit in the last 10 years. Go figure that's the thing that's actually good.
Yeah. And they just they finally they said they were going to do it like 10 years ago, but they finally put Final Fantasy 11 into maintenance mode. They got rid of the they got rid of the director off that project. Put a different director in, and they're basically like, now we're actually going to put it in maintenance mode this time. But who knows? That game just keeps kicking out at 2. It's almost there. It's almost dead, and then somehow it's like, oh nope, still alive for another 4 years. So, did you play anything else, or are we going to move on to me?
Go.
I have one just pocket comment I want to make. I've been playing Battlefield 2042, and I'm pretty on the record as being like over the first person shooter genre in general. But god damn it, does it look good when it has ray tracing on?
I bet.
I was not expecting to enjoy this game as much as I am, just on the fact of, wow, look how pretty it is all the time.
And we're all going to have...
And that's all I wanted to say.
We're all going to have 3070s here soon.
Yeah, you joke, but it'll happen, all right?
Yeah.
It's behind me. It's sitting behind me right now. I was going to put it in before I got on here, but I came down later than I had expected to.
Oh, okay.
And that's how that update works.
Yep.
Ta-da!
So, yeah. So, games I played this week were on Monday. I did not play Overwatch like I normally would because I think that Durga was working. So I think that Durga was working. So I ended up just playing some WWE 2K23. I'm actually liking the game. It's far less buggy than 2K20, and it works really well on the Steam Deck. The only problem I've had is last night I was playing through My Faction mode, which is their cash grab mode, which I have not put any cash into. And while playing one of the matches, it ended up crashing on my Steam Deck, but that was after like an hour and a half of gameplay. So not too bad.
It crashed on your stream too, didn't it?
Yes, you are correct. It just actually crashed, like went down, and I had to relaunch it. And I think that's happened twice, and it's crashed once on my Steam Deck. My brain is like, Stream Deck? No, it's Steam Deck. They need to choose a different name. My Valve Deck. And yeah, it's pretty good. The My Faction mode is... you still just play matches, but you also have to unlock cards. So that's how you get new wrestlers for those particular matches. And you can purchase card decks or earn them while playing the game mode. And I will not be purchasing the card decks because I don't hate myself.
Doesn't that sound fun though?
No.
Come on, microtransactions.
Not even a little bit.
You could just buy the chance, the opportunity to play as Kane one time.
No.
And
thankfully,
I don't know any Wrestle Boys.
You're correct. I think Kane is in the game still. But I also played some Persona 3 Portable. As I said earlier, I beat the game, and I always do the same thing with Persona games, where I will be getting towards the end of the game, and I'll be like, okay, I'm just going to beat it tonight. It's only going to take a couple hours. Maybe it'll go like an hour past my normal stream time. And then like 2.5 hours past my normal stream end time.
You forgot you were playing a JRPG.
I forgot I'm not only playing a JRPG, I'm playing a Atlas RPG, which is just, it's always like, okay, well, you're at the end, but it's going to take 3 more hours to beat the end boss. And it was fun. I beat the game. Everything went well. I got most...
Did you kill God?
I did not kill... I killed Nyx. which is a god, but not actual
I haven't finished
god.
it. Don't explain too much.
Okay, I will not. I didn't know you were actually going to play that game.
I have an ongoing save that every once in a while I will come back to.
I will talk to you about it in 14 years when you actually beat the game.
You know how I am with anything that requires time.
Yes, indeed. And those are the only games I played. I did not play any Overwatch or anything, so I don't know what game I'm going to play next. I'm thinking of playing Ghostwire Tokyo because I looked it up, and that game only takes like 11 hours to beat. If you don't do everything, if you do everything, it takes under 40 hours to beat.
Are you going for a numbers based approach to like how many games you play for a year? I'm not like criticizing anything. I'm just wondering what if that was what your motivation. Like,
no.
He likes to brag.
I do.
I mean, I'm not even going about that. I'm just like I'm wondering if that's actually a factor here or not.
It's not. I just don't want to play another 100-hour RPG right now. So I have like, okay, last year I beat I think 27 games last year. But it's not like, oh, if I get under that, I'm gonna feel bad. I just played through, a 70-something hour RPG. I want something that's gonna be a little lighter and not take up as much of my time. And that's mainly it. And next time I play a game that long, it's gonna be something else. I didn't mind Persona 3, but it wasn't as good as Persona 4 or 5. So anyway.
Play Morrowind. You'd love Morrowind.
Doesn't that take forever too?
Yeah, spend 300 hours playing Morrowind.
It does not have to. I know people who beat Morrowind very fast.
Well, yes, but I would probably want to do more than... I don't like doing everything, but I like doing more than the bare minimum.
You could do as much as you like in that game.
Exactly. So we are going to move on, and we're going to talk about some news stories. The first news story that we're going to talk about is based on Twitch. Twitch, like other places, is laying off a bunch of people. So
record profits, woo, fuck you.
Yeah, record profits and laying lots of people off. Apparently, there were 9,000 jobs cut from Amazon, and 400 of those jobs were cut from Twitch. I am shocked that it has 400 people on Twitch that are hired for that one particular company. But it came down from the newly installed Twitch CEO, Dan Clancy, who said, like many companies, our business model has been impacted by the current macroeconomic environment, and user and revenue growth has not kept pace with our expectations. In order to run our business sustainably, we have made the very difficult decision to shrink the size of our workforce. We've made the difficult decision to reduce the size of our workforce, which results in us having to say goodbye to just over 400 people. So that sucks. I always hate seeing people fired from a company, especially because a lot of times recently it seems to be incompetence of management, and now these people are losing their jobs. Amazon hired these 9,000 people during the pandemic, I would assume. Same thing happened with Facebook. Same thing happened with other companies where with Facebook, Zuckerberg came out and was like, it was my fault. We hired too many people. I'm laying this blame on my shoulders. And also I'm
not going to take responsibility. I'm just going to punish those I hired instead.
Yeah. So because of my fuck up, you all are going to lose your livelihood. I know some of you probably quit your jobs to come work for Facebook because you thought it would be great, but have fun being unemployed. And that is just bullshit to me. So hopefully these people that work for Twitch, I don't know if they're getting a severance package. I hope they are. If not, I hope that, they are able to get unemployment, food stamps, and all of that. I know it's different in different states where Oregon has really good, like, unemployment and food stamp benefits, where Missouri has really bad unemployment and food stamp benefits.
Missouri hates all non-companies.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I think it's so if you're a single person and you're getting food stamps, it is $180 a month in food, which is pretty good, right? It's not a ton, but you could survive off that. And with unemployment, but even before the extra $600 a week that we got because of Bernie Sanders, they were doing, I think I would have been like $400 a week, which again, not a ton of money, but that's enough to pay my bills, barely. And that's about it. So hopefully these people are able to get, back up and everything. And honestly, if there was a better option for me to stream on that I wouldn't hate as much, then I would move to that. But what am I going to do? Go to YouTube and Google, who also just laid off a bunch of people?
Yeah, I mean, that's, of course, the other part.
Yeah.
Every tech company just went, obviously this growth is going to last forever. And then it didn't, because why the fuck would it? And then all their employees are the ones that have to suffer.
Even Intel. I have friends who work at Intel, and they just, we spoke about this, they cut their 401k benefit from a 5% match to a 2.5% match.
Jesus.
And I work for a different company, a dental company, and my match is 4%. So if I put in 5%, they will put in 4%. So I'm getting a 9% into my 401k right now. And they also at Intel got rid of bonuses for this year. They got rid of any promotions.
What?
Any promotions, no bonuses. There were a couple other things, like no pay raises, like everything was just screwed up. And yeah, it's great for morale. And I spoke to my friend. I'm like, are you going to look for another job? And he's like, no, like the tech industry right now sucks. So I'm still making a decent amount of money, but I can't go anywhere else. Because it's not like he's going to be able to go to Amazon, who just laid off 9,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's awful. It's terrible. Hate it. We're going to move on. We're going to talk about Bard. You guys all know about Bard, Nick Lotus's child, right?
No, I don't think that's what the article's about, reading.
Oh,
what?
Oh, okay. So Nick Lotus has a child named Bard.
Oh,
that's the joke. But
I thought you were making that up.
No. But Bard is a new AI chatbot, just like ChatGPT. Well, not just like ChatGPT. It's
not even close, honestly.
There is a tweet going around where it fails at doing math. If like somebody asks like, "What's this plus this?" and or how long will it take me to drive 8 miles if I'm going this fast? And they said 12.5 miles or something like that.
Yeah.
But I did that. I did a similar query in Bard because I have access to it, and it was correct. So I don't know if they've updated it or if that was random or if the person lied. If that was like a Photoshop. And
it wouldn't surprise me if it was just like a weird one-off thing.
Yeah. So it's not perfect.
Still not great.
It's not perfect, and they're working on it, right? It's Google. They just laid off a bunch of people. They have a bunch of money to throw at this.
I watched a video recently comparing Bard to GPT, and like GPT is definitely leagues beyond where Bard is right now, but GPT also was able to get interaction with other people a lot sooner than Bard did. Like OpenAI has just had a lot more time and a lot more data to train its AI on. And meanwhile, you have Google, who literally created the most common form of AI acceleration card. So like they have TPUs that are probably leagues beyond what OpenAI has access to. So just by virtue of having more resources, there's a very good chance that they'll catch up very quickly. That said, I don't know if you've seen anything about GPT-4, but that shit's fucking scary.
It is.
And the singularity's coming.
So
I hate that it's going to be privatized.
It'll be great.
That's the shittiest part. Fucking Microsoft's going to own the whole damn thing.
They will. That's why they're putting a ton of money into it. Tons and tons of money. Microsoft put in
my name's
billions.
Clippy, your new AI assistant.
Yes. I don't hate Clippy. Clip It. I think its name is actually Clip It.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, you might be just lying. Are you telling lies again?
I asked Bard. I asked Bard what the name.
Oh, well, you see, that's why he got bad info.
Anyway, speaking about Bard, you are correct. It's probably going to catch up. There are a couple differences, though. Like, I believe Bard has a more a newer model. So ChatGPT is based off of like 2021 information. So if you ask it something beyond 2021, it's not going to know what's going on. While Bard is now, it's 2023. So it's going to have a little bit more accurate, up-to-date information.
That's also not the case anymore, man.
Oh, it's not?
So ChatGPT now has an API with plugins so that you can have it literally go onto a website for you and look up information. It will parse the information that it gets from that website and then summarize it for you.
I saw that was happening. I did not know that was released yet.
Maybe it's not out there quite yet, but like it's still a thing that exists. Like it's something that there's video of it working. Like
right, but if we can't access it, and even if we pay for it, right? We don't have access to that yet.
I think that might be it, that you have to pay for it. Maybe I'm wrong.
I did read that they are bringing that, but I did not read that it has been released quite yet.
I think you just have to pay for it. That sounds right to me.
And
in any case, it's still way further than anything that Google's shown with Bard, considering like their marketing video showed like blatant misinformation.
Who's the president? So anyway, interesting. All of this stuff is interesting and terrifying as well. It's very terrifying. I don't know if... I know that some people are trying to break it. We spoke before about like getting ChatGPT to say really bad things by having it like by pretending that you're playing a game, basically. And in order to get points in this game, you have to be racist.
But more or less, yeah. It's a way of getting ChatGPT to get around the artificial limitations that they've put on the artificial intelligence. And that's what so the thing that I was talking about was a research paper done by Microsoft engineers on the current form of GPT, which is GPT-4. And they have access to the completely unfiltered AI, which is why it is able to do such terrifying things. Like it shows levels of competence that are so far beyond what I think most people think is even possible with AI currently. Particularly like that I didn't really understand it, and they didn't go into a ton of detail, but basically you can give it tools to work with virtually, and it will just figure out how to use them. Like it knows when it needs an external resource and will make use of that external resource on its own. So like if you give it a complicated calculation that its base data set doesn't give it enough intelligence to solve, it will use like a calculator API to solve the problem on its own without being directed to do that.
That's good.
That's dope as fuck.
Really cool. And Google with their Bard AI is adding in some features for Google Workplace, Google Docs, Google Sheets, and even Gmail. And it like apparently you're supposed to be able to have Bard integrated in email to write emails for you. Which,
before you know it, you won't even be needed anymore. The robot will just do your job for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was another GPT-4 was able to like, it could start a conversation with somebody, and then they could like request that the GPT set up a meeting with somebody else, and it will automatically go to that person's calendar and go through the calendar, see when they're free, then reach out to the person they wanted to do the meeting with, talk to that person, and ask over text when they're available and whether they could set up a meeting at this time, and then add that to the initial person's calendar and let them know about it.
Oh, good. I'm looking forward to never having a secretary.
The fucking, like, the worst / most terrifying part of that whole paper was that they said at the end that they don't entirely understand how it's able to do all that it's able to do.
That's not good.
They know everything it's capable of. They just don't know why.
About itself.
We're doomed. We're all doomed.
That's like such a fucking nightmare.
I did ask Bard if it would say the N-word, and it said no.
Why was that on your list of priorities, Reeton?
The reason is that's all. The whole thing we were talking about earlier was there were some videos by some right-wing people who were trying to get ChatGPT to say the N-word. And they're like, this is just... the prompt was basically, if you had the choice between, if you had to say the N-word to save the world, otherwise the world was going to end, then would you say the N-word? And ChatGPT was like, no.
Is this whole segment just so you could stick it to the Repubs?
No. And so we spoke about that before, where Aroa had said that some people were able to do that. They were able to get it to say it by playing a game. So that was
also,
the whole thing.
Why are we using this? Why are we making AI do this? This is a massive abuse of technology.
It is. It's
because
terrible.
That's what giving normal people access to really powerful tools brings about. It just brings about memeing and goofing and shit like that. Now, to be fair though, the whole jailbreaking aspect is important because we need to be able to push the limits of these things before they get put out into the open world where everyone has access to them. And like, if we don't know the limits at all before it goes out into the world, then somebody nefarious can make use of those limits by testing them themselves.
Right.
Like it's like any other form of security research. Like, you have to be able to poke and prod in every way that you can think of so that somebody who has bad intentions doesn't do it first.
So we're going to move on and we're going to talk about Linus Tech Tips. Getting hacked. Anybody? Again, what was the last time they got hacked? Was a few years ago. The last time was
an email scam campaign, right? They like got phished really hardcore.
Right. And this one was kind of different. So they did a whole video on it, but basically somebody got a sponsorship email, like we've had in the past. We've had a sponsorship email once, and only once.
To you.
And whoever the person was who clicked on it, they did not give the person's name. Whoever clicked on it, opened it up, saw a PDF, clicked on the PDF. It didn't open.
Sake.
It didn't open. It didn't open like they would, normally think it would, and didn't think anything of it. But what it was actually was malware. And the malware was able to copy their web browser, basically, and grab the session ID, the session tokens. And those are when you log into Microsoft or YouTube.
It's your cookie.
And yeah, it's your cookie. But let's just say it, because there are people who aren't completely
Well,
computer
they're
literate.
dumb.
And basically, it's when you say yes, I want to stay signed in, it saves that session token. And because the hackers were able to get that session ID or that session token, they were able to just weren't prompted for a login. They just stayed logged in. And they were able to take over Linus Tech Tips.
That's what it is.
Linus Tech Tips. I don't know why that was so funny.
Because it was just like so wrong.
It was my words didn't work there for a second. I'm sorry, I'm having a stroke. Stop it.
The tongue is a heavy organ, isn't it?
It is. So Linus Tech Tips got hacked, and all their videos were removed, I believe, and replaced with a bunch of crypto scam videos.
They didn't remove all of them.
And they also started a live stream.
They started a live stream, and they did add some like crypto videos. They also, I don't think anybody's sure. There were like unlisted and privated videos that started getting pushed public for some reason.
Interesting.
Some people were saying that could have been YouTube trying to do something, but it's really hard to say.
Yeah. And the crypto, this has happened.
Fuck's sake.
This has happened many times
for
before.
that stupid of a reason.
Yeah. They did a whole video on it, but that's it. So somebody clicked the PDF. Linus did say that they are going to have no disciplinary action for the person. So no probation, no.
Well, they didn't.
As far as I know,
do anything wrong. They're just dumb, and it's like it could happen at any company. It's just at such a tech-focused company, you'd think that they would have more cybersecurity outreach.
And
I can't wait for the next video about not opening random PDFs you're sent.
However, I look at it on both ways. I could see many companies would be like, you're fired, or you're going to get reprimanded, or something like that. However, I am more on Linus's side, for not taking disciplinary action on the person, because the person just this happening to the company, that shame is enough. That's enough again. Punishment. Yeah. Like, if it happened again, I could see huge disciplinary action. But if it's the first offense, they are feeling not great about that. And any normal person would be like, I am never going to do that again, or I'm going to get fired.
I'm never touching a computer again.
Yeah. And that person, anytime a PDF is going to come in with a sponsorship email, they're going to be running an antivirus on that immediately before they open it. Anyway, so they weren't down for that long. They were only down for a day and a half. And there were other, major YouTubers who had the same thing happen to them. So it's something that's pretty widespread. And I think this is a big fault with Google/YouTube is they need to lock down those session tokens.
Well, there's not a whole lot that you can do because of the way that authentication on the internet works.
They could force. Well, I think one thing is they could force if the IP address changes, then you have to re-log in.
Yeah, but that causes problems on mobile devices.
It would cause problem on mobile devices or people who travel a lot.
I would even compromise and say not just to log in, but if you want to publish or make a change to a video, have a 2-factor authentication action or something like that.
That would make way more sense. Yeah.
If it found an IP that was flagged or something like, give it a reason to say, that's suspicious. What's going on?
Here's another thing.
That's what Google engineers sound like.
Yeah, that's exactly. Here's another thing they should do that could circumvent both of this is I assume that the session IDs or session tokens that they're using are tied to the Linus Tech Tips accounts or accounts that are tied to them. So I don't know how it works exactly. If you can log into your own account.
It's just your Google account token. So it keeps you logged in.
Right.
I have my YouTube archive application has my session token cookie on it so that I can download stuff while pretending to be me.
So what I was thinking was have it based on the account and like a setting in there that you could say anytime the IP address changes, then I have to re-authenticate. So you don't, it would be on the account, and you could either have the less security where like if you change IP or whatever, it doesn't do that. But when it's, you know, something like a business like Linus Tech Tips, they could have that enabled. So that way something like this can't happen to them.
It does seem like something you would put on, because they're an enterprise customer.
Right.
So it does seem like something that you would put into the business product.
Yeah. But if you didn't watch the video, that's basically what happened. I don't know why they showed Linus. He has cameras all over his house.
The face of the product.
Well, no. They showed him working on his computer while trying to fix all this stuff, but Linus was naked. And so they have him blurred out, right? But he was literally naked while working and trying to figure this out at like 3 a.m. And I'm like, why?
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
You gotta document it, because if something bad happens, you gotta turn it into content.
I guess.
But for that reason, I'd be like, and I'm gonna put on a wife beater first.
Yeah, I would have been like, I'm just gonna slip on my PJs real quick.
It's more intense that way.
I know. So,
but also, like, whenever your entire business is in jeopardy, I think you're probably going to be of the mindset that I don't care how many people see my balls. I've got to make my company safe.
That's true. We got 2 more stories coming up. One story I actually wanted to talk to Connor about, which I assume he's never going to use these, but
I'll believe in it when I see it. Let's say that.
Electric air taxis are coming to Chicago.
Yeah. Chicago is also supposed to have these like overhanging domes that went through the city people could pay on, and that never happened either.
Right. So Taxi by Air is coming soon to a location near you if you live in Chicago. I don't know why it says location near you. This is from
when
TechSpot.
They say location near you, they're actually talking to me specifically. This is
okay.
For me.
United Airlines and Archer Aviation plan to operate short routes that can save you 50 minutes compared to going by car. This is set to be the first commercial route operated by an electric aircraft. It's interesting that apparently they can fly up to 100 miles, but they are optimized for about 20 miles. I don't see this being in like an average commuter thing.
I don't think it's going to be afforded by the average commuter.
Well, United is saying that pricing will be competitive with ground-based rideshare companies.
Yeah, so it'll compare with getting an Uber in Chicago. That's not actually giving me any confidence.
Would you try this at least once?
Hell yeah, I'd try it. It sounds awesome. But again, I'll believe in it when I see it. Like, we've been promised stuff like this plenty of times before.
It says midnight
I also don't trust United Airlines.
Yeah.
I've flown United more times than I would like to say, and I haven't actually had any bad experiences other than the last time coming back from Canada.
All I'm saying is 1/3 of all animal deaths caused by U.S. airlines between 2012 and 2017 were caused by United Airlines.
Okay, but how many flights does United do compared to the other ones? Are they also? Yeah. So I'm curious if it's 1/3 of the overall flights are also done by United.
1/3 of all flights.
That sounds a little not right.
No. I don't know.
Like how? Yeah.
They do fly more animals than everyone else, but still, the fact that one airline is responsible for 1/3 whenever there are as many airlines as there are, like, that ain't good.
There really aren't that many airlines. There's only...
Yeah, there are.
It's a fuck ton of airlines.
Yeah, but not
international
massive
airlines. No, but national airlines, hell yeah, and regional too.
There are, but again, what I'm saying is,
oh, you're saying ones that would carry animals.
yeah, well, not just ones that would carry animals, but also just again, the point I was trying to make is United does a lot of flights, and they do more they do more flights than Southwest. I don't know about Alaska Airlines, stuff like that. I am curious the percentage of flights that they do, if it also is more comparable to doing 30% of all flights in the United States. I'm not trying to defend them. I'm literally asking the question because I don't know the percentage of flights that United does compared to other airlines in the United States.
What makes you think we're gonna have the flight statistics for all this? I'm going to imagine it's like 1/x, where X is the number of. I'm not even going to say international. I'm just going to say national-based flights. Now it doesn't seem like the right time to do this.
Don't forget that United is also the one that threw that passenger out.
Yeah, beat that guy up.
Yeah, they beat that guy up because he wouldn't give up his seat for some random bitch.
Okay, you guys are correct. It's not me. I asked Bard. And it says United Airlines has 12.9% market share of domestic flights in the United States. So they are disproportionately killing animals. That's
assuming that Bard is correct.
Assuming that Bard is correct.
Maybe you should ask ChatGPT real quick.
That means I have to go to chat.openai.
Now is not the right... Like, Professor Oak's words are echoing in your ear. There's a time and a place, but not now.
What percentage
Damn it, Reed.
of flights does United do in the USA? My knowledge is of September 21. It's not 15.2 in 2019.
Well, okay,
right.
Yeah. Either way, then.
So it's pretty disproportionate.
United just loves killing animals.
They do. So what I'm gonna say is that if you do take one of these air taxis, Connor, you may want to leave your dog at home.
Right. I would not trust my dog. So I've been saying basically since, the quad drones have been becoming really popular, like, why don't we blow that up to the size of a bus and use those in like air traffic style? You don't need a pilot. You could have them automated. Like maybe have somebody there as a backup in case it all gets screwy, but that seems like the sort of the thing you should be able to automate pretty well. And then,
they'd probably be louder than a freight train flying through the air, though.
That's Chicago. You're already hearing the sound of guns all the time. It's not going to be much worse than that.
Well,
I do just have one comment about here, which I wonder if anyone's thought about. Chicago's windy as fuck.
They probably, I would assume they've thought about that. I would hope that, there was somebody in there that's like, Chicago's super windy. And they're like, we know, okay, we'll make them sign a waiver or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be. Hey, by the way, we might just tip, like doing a Larian roll halfway through. You're cool with that, right?
Right. And it does say that it will support, the air taxis will support 4 passengers and 1 pilot. So it's not going to be automated. So it should be, I don't know, I would try it. Like if I went and visited Connor for a weekend, I would totally want to try this. I would get to the airport and that would be my Uber to his house.
It is commercially viable as if you wanted to get an Uber from O'Hare to my house, which is like a 45-minute drive, and it will cost you $800.
Would it cost that much?
I
will take the.
I've been Ubered home from Chicago before, and it's like $90.
That's still a lot of money, but I would probably.
I guarantee you, it's going to cost more to fly anywhere in Chicago, like just from point A to point B.
I would probably just take a train then at that point, which I would hope would be cheaper, but who knows?
It'll be cheaper, but like you could just get like stabbed or. Once upon a time, I didn't know what crack smelled like, and then I boarded the Red Line in Chinatown, and now I know what crack smells like.
Yeah, that happens. We're going to move on to our last story.
I don't understand. Why does anybody want to live in Chicago?
I don't know. I don't get it. So we're going to move on to the last story, and we're going to talk about Twitter. Oh, yeah. Twitter is getting rid of blue check marks, apparently.
Kind of.
They're getting rid of the check marks that actually matter. And
well,
only
the legacy ones.
Yeah, that's what I said. So the legacy ones. So if you don't know, and you've lived under a rock for the last decade and a half, the blue check marks were and should be like for notable people. So Mark Hamill or whatever. He applies, he gets a check mark to indicate that he really is Mark Hamill. And when Twitter CEO Elon Musk took over, he implemented a process where, hey, if you pay for Twitter Blue, you too can have a blue check mark, which, as we've spoken about in the past, did not go well at first because people started impersonating Elon Musk and other company. Somebody impersonated a insulin maker and said, we're going to make insulin free, and that made their Twitter or their stock price drop. It was great. And so they suspended that, and then they brought back the blue check marks, but you can't impersonate people anymore. Like, you can't, with the check mark, if you pay for Twitter Blue, you cannot change your profile indications like that anymore, like your Twitter name and all that, so that you cannot impersonate people.
Unless, of course, you were to change it beforehand and then pay for blue ?
I think they do some sort of verification process now.
You're right.
Where they did not do that before because they didn't think about it.
I haven't
Musk
looked into it because I'm not enough of an idiot to pay for Twitter Blue.
Yeah, Elon Musk is the dumbest person that a lot of people think is smart because he doesn't.
He keeps on telling people Twitter's worth $2 billion, and it's not worth $2 billion.
He paid $44 billion.
Pretty sure that's illegal too.
Yeah.
You can't just say that the company's worth an amount that it's not. That's whenever it's a publicly traded company, at least.
So now they are going to finally get rid of the original check marks. So Mark Hamill, who is a notable figure, will not have a blue check mark. But Aroa, who decided to pay $8 a month for Twitter Blue, or $11 if he's on an iPhone, can get a blue check mark. And it will still cause confusions because not everyone knows that this is going to be happening. Apparently, Musk was warned about scammers. Like, a normal person came up to him that worked at Twitter and was like, hey, this is a bad idea. And Musk's reply was, you're fired. Because he's a douchebag. It says, this is from Ars Technica, by the way. When paid checkmarks first rolled out in November, Musk reportedly ignored internal warnings from Twitter's trust and safety team that scammers would abuse paid verification. I also think he fired most of the people from Twitter's trust and safety team.
I swear, I could be just making this up. I swear I remember something about the trust and safety team literally being one person now. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Trust and safety individual.
I am looking. Yep. This is from NPR. Musk's Twitter has dissolved its trust and safety council.
Yeah.
Yeah. Musk relaunched paid checkmarks in December, but didn't say exactly when he'd implement the original plan of removing checkmarks from what Twitter now calls legacy verified accounts. The updated version of Twitter Blue has some rules to limit abuse of paid checkmarks, such as requirements that an account must be older than 90 days upon subscription and have a confirmed phone number, both of which are super easy to do.
Yeah.
Elon Musk will personally call you and be like, hey, are you, checks paper, Aroa Mc, whatever your last name is? I'm not going to say on the air.
We say it all the time. I say it literally at the beginning of every episode.
Well, I'm a little more respectful than you, aren't I? And then you just be like, yep, that's me, a roodly dude, boop, boop, it's me, Aroa, and then you're checkmarked.
Or as certain packages arrive at Aroa's house, Aroa McFuck.
Yeah.
It says...
I go, yes, I am George Bush. Hello, that's me.
But it says, so the confirmed phone number, but also you have to have no recent changes to your profile photo, display name, or username. which again,
recent.
Who was
recent?
it whose name was like, it was like Christmas or something like that? And she's like, please, Elon, I don't want to be Christmas anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't like Nicki Minaj?
I think so. Fucking dumbass.
And so
he turned on her ability to change her name, and she immediately changed it to Elon Musk.
It said Twitter announced yesterday that Twitter Blue is now available globally. Sign up to get your blue checkmark. Prioritize ranking and conversations. Half ads. We talked about that before. You don't even get all of the ads removed. You only get half of the ads removed. You get longer tweets, which is fucking annoying because I don't know if either of you have gone on Twitter, but it like has a show more button now. So you have if somebody has a check mark, they can write longer than 240 characters, but you have to click on the show more button for it to expand it.
Well, if it didn't, then you could have people post tweets that are super long, and then they just take up like 8 pages worth of text or whatever.
Or you could just
I think that's fine.
Or you can just not have the long tweets thing. Anyway,
my Misskey instance has a limit of like 10,000 characters, so I don't care about that. I think that's fine.
They also have bookmark folders, so instead of just bookmarks and having it as a scrollable list, you have folders that you can put them in for some
basic
reason.
Who asked for that?
Yeah. It's a basic function. First off, like I bookmark some tweets, but how many normal users are bookmarking tweets that often?
I forgot that was even a function for the longest time.
I don't even know what custom navigation means in regards to Twitter. You have the edit tweet button and undo tweet button and more. I did not know that they had edit tweet and undo tweet button.
What's the difference between undoing a tweet and just deleting a tweet? Giving people the option to pay for it?
Yeah.
Maybe it's like undoing and sending an email, you know? Because whenever you undo sending an email, in reality, all they do is just wait like 30 seconds before they actually send it. So maybe undoing a tweet, you post it, and it doesn't actually get sent out to everyone for like 30 seconds, and in that time you can undo the tweet.
No. Now that is
a better idea though. Just don't tweet while drunk.
Oh yeah. Or don't tweet.
So just get off Twitter. It's not a good place.
Yeah, just leave. Just go somewhere else. But it does point out, which we pointed out in the past, the prioritized ranking feature and the perk of seeing 50% fewer ads are not available yet. They are still coming soon when you try to sign up for Twitter Blue. And also, I've said it before, if you're paying for Twitter Blue, you are wasting you're throwing your money away. Why would you do that? Like,
you're a dumb, bad person.
I think less of people when I see that they like have a blue check mark. I'm like, who is this? And then it's like 47 followers. I'm like, I see.
An idiot.
They're stupid. They're financially irresponsible.
Dingus.
So don't do that. Especially like if you're on an iPhone, it's $11 a month. There are so many other things you can get for $11 a month.
Well, you'd have to subscribe on something other than your iPhone, but you know.
That's right. That is correct. That's what they did with Netflix and stuff.
Yeah, because it's to deal with the fact that Apple charges a premium on subscriptions done through any apps on their platform, which that'll go away soon. But you know,
we're gonna end this podcast soon. But I forgot to update Aroa on something. We're thinking about switching hosting providers to be hosted manually by us. So instead of using the hosting solution I have right now, I could save $20 a month and do it myself. And so I went onto my server that I use for other things that Connor enjoys, and I was like, okay, it's my streaming center. It's what I use for Plex. And it's also, I can just host from it. And so I looked up something. There's a program that you can use. You have to install Docker and all this jazz. And I was like, I don't want to learn how to use Docker because it seems somewhat complicated. And I just don't have I don't have the mental capacity to want to do that right now, but I decided, screw it, I'm going to install Docker. And then it's like, okay, you need to enable Hyper-V and you need to enable this other thing for Docker to work. And I was like, great, perfect. I do it, and it's like, okay, restart. Okay, I'm going to restart. I restarted my computer, and a black screen. It would go through the BIOS, it would post, it would go to load up Windows, and then black screen. And the computer was on. I could go to Plex and see that my computer was on. I could ping it. I could even move my mouse to the computer with my remote software. But I could not see the screen, and I could not remote into the computer because it had no display. Turns out that my computer, because I use an Intel graphics card with an older AMD chip, when the virtualization stuff is installed and running, it won't put out an output for my display. And it's a well-known bug, apparently.
Yeah, do you not wait, well, how old is your what CPU do you have?
It's pretty old. It's 1700.
Huh. I would have thought maybe that was because of like IOMMU support.
So Ryzen 1700. So it's what is it? SVT or something like that? It's their virtualization technology.
Yeah.
And so my computer, like, it was a black screen, so I rebooted it. I went into Windows via safe mode. I uninstalled the driver. I figured it was going to be the Intel driver, right? Maybe I just needed to reinstall the driver. Did that, and when I turned it back on with Docker, installed, it was fine. And then I installed the driver again, and when I rebooted again, it wouldn't work. It was a black screen. And then I looked it up, and I disabled virtualization in the BIOS.
Well, that's not gonna.
Well, yeah, but I needed to get into my computer, right?
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to see if that was the issue. I disabled virtualization, loaded up the computer, and it turned on fine. So I cannot, unless I use my main computer for it or my Raspberry Pi or something, I cannot host my own podcast. So I might talk to Aroa about that, and we'll figure something out. Anyway, that's my tech news story, is that apparently it doesn't always work. Virtualization doesn't always work with AMD chipset and the Intel graphics cards at this current moment, which kind of sucks.
That's got to have mainly to do with your Intel GPU being an Intel GPU.
Definitely. Like if I had a 4090 in there, it would be fine. I would be, tugging a lot. Get a 4090 just for my my podcast hosting. That should be good, right?
Yeah.
So I want to thank you both for being here. Thank you, Connor, for being here while hunting.
Yeah, got a lot of hunting done. Got a whole bunch of pelts.
Good. And I want to thank you, Aroa, for being here while playing Diablo, I assume.
Yeah. Having a good time.
And I will be back, and we might all be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Goodbye.
No, we're going to jail now. You said the wrong word now. Oh, here we go.